So today I would like to introduce a new concept of the core biome complex. What is it, and why this is important for the space exploration and terrestrial conservation. So we have established the Social Innovation Center. Inside of the Social Innovation Center, there is a Human Spaceology Division, and we named as a Human Spaceology Center, SIC Human Spaceology Center, and we have basically 5 different activities. One is space forestry, and this is launched by and operated mainly by Professor Takao Doi, who was a former astronaut. Oh, yeah, he's still an astronaut and developing UDUM satellite. And this is a joint research with Sumitomo forestry industry corporation. And the second one is a space habitation. And this is to seek for the design for the future settlement in the lunar and also the Martian surface. And this is actually, we are starting the collaboration with the Kajima Corporation. And the third will be space radiation impact. This is collaboration work with Accenture. And fourth will be the special education. And this is actually supported by the Ministry of Education. And we have carried out the several workshops with Biosphere 2, is a space camp at Biosphere 2 in collaboration with Space Unit. And 5 is a space and Earth exploration technology. This is supported by the GMT Mori. So this 5 area has been selected, but I show clearly because of the network. But I just show introduction, and there is a link in the wave. So I hope that you can take a look at this video with full speed. But just showing in the future image of the Martian settlement by the artificial gravity facility, which is proposed by the Kajima, and we are trying to do so. And this is a settlement in the Martian surface. And also, we also consider the future terraforming. The terraforming is, of course, it is a kind of fantasy. And from here, it's more about, so these are the kind of information that I have just introduced. So recently, we made a press release about the research of the space radiation impact. Together with our former student, Moe Fujita, and also the JEA, Tatsuhiko Sato, we have published in the scientific reports one publication, which is evaluating the practical and realistic dose in the different flight area, flight route, and different solar proton event, and to evaluate. And this can be applied for the future, the space-aged radiation impact. And this has recently been published by the JST Science Japan with a recent remark. And this is our past space camp in the Arizona Biosphere 2. We have already accomplished 3 consecutive workshop and training. Of course, last year, we couldn't send the student to the US because of the corona. And this year, we hope that we can send 5 students in the US and also having a workshop in the Arizona. And this is a remote sensing work. This is actually carried out by Sato. And Sato is our graduate student, and to trying to develop satellite-based water quality and also the water vegetation monitoring. So our concept, what is core biome complex? This is a kind of like a rename of the Gaia concept. Gaia is we consider us as a living matter, which has a life. But the core biome complex is we are trying to express what is Earth system. And there is a standard biome, an extreme biome, and habitable biome. What is different? The standard biome is a normal condition, but extreme biome is when the individual biome is dominated by a single or few species. So the biodiversity diminish by the excessive environmental impact. For example, the blue-green algae growth and the red tide, and all extreme condition is an example of the extreme biome. This is a very important figure to illustrate our concept. So when you think about migrating into the different terrestrial ecosystem, but it is impractical. It is impossible to bring our terrestrial or fall ecosystem into the different planets. So our concept is, why don't you select some of them to cultivate into the different planetary environment? And this concept should be expressed in the different way here. So I gave a presentation in the last two international workshops in the GSAIS about the sustainable mother planet concept. So if you think about the Earth, Earth is the left. So we are living in the Earth. Earth is surrounded by or covered by the natural resources, but natural resources can be classified as ocean and forest and soil. This is very simple classification, but ocean covers 70% of the surface of the Earth, and forests cover 10 to 20%, and the soil, it's a desert, is like 15 to 80%, depending upon the period and also the condition and determination. And then we have our life is, we want to establish a society in our planet. This is, we call it a social infrastructure. But when you think about building the social infrastructure, so the lifeline infrastructure is more crucial and more important, because individuals need drinking water and food and natural resources and energy. You know, if you make urban planning, you have to calculate at the first time how much drinking water supply can be made for that city. This is for a long history of human being as a culture. From the ancient world, the water supply is the most important and essential thing. And the second important thing, of course, the first and second is almost same, but food. If you don't have food, you cannot support any individuals in the society. And if you have sufficient water, food, and also the energy, then you can think about building the society in the top. However, when you think about the space exploration and also different environment, you only think about how to maintain human life. So which means you human until now only think how to make a lifeline infrastructure, in the other term, how to make survival infrastructure and life supporting infrastructure. However, if you think about the moving into the different planet and different like lunar society, of course, this is very important to build the lifeline structure. However, that should be based on the nature. And if you have, do you think, is there any natural environment in the lunar surface or moon surface? No, there is only regolith and no air. at all, and very, very few water resources and some mineral there. So which means there is no ecosystem. So in the Earth, we have a core biome complex. This is an ecosystem. But if you think moving into the different planet, why don't you bring some of them into the lunar surface or Martian surface as selected core biome? And then you can think about the core society. And in the space exploration, you have to integrate between the technology and also the human science as a core society. Because as mentioned in this workshop from the beginning, the human happiness and human life is the ultimate goal, even if you build in the society in the space. So which means if you are thinking build a useful society in the space, you have to think the social environment and also the law, legislative environment. Actually, in this part, we are asking Professor Sekiyama Takashi about get into the detail. And also there is space medicine. This is very important because without having a health, you cannot build any stable life. But the more important thing, the human, to go to the space, the more important thing is secure the lifeline, secure survivable, and also the life supporting system. And the life supporting system should be based on the sophisticated technology. So we call them as a core technology. The core technology includes engineering, and this is, I put the space habitation. This is we are trying to develop with the Kajima, and also the space science and space planet. And this means you have to understand the planetary environment, and also you have to have a space-based life science. And everything are all related. And more important thing is a core biome concept should be based on the space forestry and space ocean. What is space forestry and space ocean? You can bring a portion of the ocean into the space. That is our concept. So we are thinking to develop how much ocean is needed to cultivate a single or multiple fish group, including the space forestry. They are trying to develop the lower atmospheric pressure and how much timber trees can be cultivated. And these are very, very important integration. And also we have to share this concept. But the important thing is each compartment is linked with the other aspect. And because of the time constraint, I will just showing briefly about how the illustration. But I like to focus in the finally, the space society. If human being seriously thinks the settlement into the space, the most essential part will be in the space society development by establishing space habitation and space medicine, and also the space law, and probably this should be based on the space sociology, right? The space sociology should consider how much society we can build in the different planet and how much people can communicate in the healthy manner, right? So based on all of this, can we build the suitable, sustainable mother planet for human in the Mars? It is very, very difficult. Of course, we are trying to develop an image in the Martian surface. Mars, you don't have sufficient water. Mars, you don't have trees and air. So everything should be prepared. However, we hope that through the integration with the engineering and also the earth science, we could in some day can amplify our environment, but not only for the human settlement, but also the ecosystem development, and also our natural resources expansion. We could in some day planetary environment like this way. This is a space image. And this is very difficult right now because of the difficult chemical property of the Martian regolith, because they have a very acid condition. But we have to overcome so many items before we can establish a real those kind of facility, and many barriers. But now I would like to conclude. In order to realize our future plan, we have to come back into the social infrastructure development. And this is the key of the success for the human future. And also that kind of a concept can be reflected back to the conservation of the terrestrial environment. Thank you very much.